Inspiration. Such a demanding thing. Or does it have to be?
You can't make something if you're not consuming something.
Or I create art in ordinariness. One doesn't have to look very far.
Let me say a cosmic phenomenon.
In conversations, ideas come to life.
All of these things can be well springs of creativity.
I want to be able to teach people, inspire people. That's where it all began.
Somehow managed to see an opportunity where others didn't. Get it off the ground, people resonate with it, and it's become its own thing.
They told a story around it, and that's what really inspired me. There's so many possibilities. It's a very big pond, I guess.
Thankful that I got super bored not doing anything, so that made me start putting myself out there. Just be yourself.
Just appreciate everything.
It's all material. It's a podcast for and by creatives. My name is Aubrey, and I dare say it's all material. Let's get to the nitty-gritty now, shall we? This episode is in partnership with South Republik. That's South Republik with a K on YouTube and Facebook. It's all material. Welcome to the show where we talk about all things creative and the other things that come with it. This podcast aims to show some love to artists and creatives all over the world. And today with me is a guy who actually collects taxes by day and plays rock by night. He's none other than the frontman of Reyes. Karey, how's it going?
How are you?
I'm good. How about you? How was your day?
Well, we had a month of very tiring work. Okay, lagi, as you've said, murag si Batman ba? Tax collector by
Bruce
day.
Wayne. You're living the Bruce Wayne life.
Yes. Murag ana ba? Pero a man's gotta do what a man's gotta do.
Exactly.
So, lagi. Anya, syempre, since you brought the rock and roll side of being a tax collector, it's pod. I feel very lucky. In fact, very blessed. I still get to play rock and roll with all this. Well, I will quote you with all these blunders sa kinabuhi.
That's
Siyempre,
right.
I still get to play music, and I still get to hang out with my brother, some friends, and meet people like you,
Oh,
which
that's
who I admire. And you're
Wow.
very good.
Oh,
I
thank
just,
you.
mao
You're
lagi,
so good
I
too.
not that good pod siguro. I ulaw good kayo nga na ako makita ka how you play your instrument, how you play your guitar. Makaulaw eh.
What are you talking about? You guys had a great set like that 2 Fridays ago. And I'm also curious how you manage your time while working so busy during the day and you still find the time to do what you love. Like, how does one balance that, man?
Fortunately, I'm married to a very, very supportive lady.
Wow.
And I have, well, yeah, very, it's always the missus. It's always the missus, in my opinion. It's always the missus. If you end up marrying someone who does not understand your passions, I don't think you'd sustain or you'd be able to do the things that you love. It's always the half of you that makes it work.
That's right.
It's a difficult, sometimes difficult, yeah.
A
You'd have
compromise.
to, yes, sometimes, most of the time, you have to make her understand, or for married people like me, you have to make your partner understand this is what I love to do, and the extension of me as a person, as an individual. And syempre, sometimes the topic or the content of your songs is your family and the people that you love.
The inspiration.
Oh.
Yeah.
Oh, yes. Are you married, or you have a family, or
No, I'm not married.
you're single?
Yes, I'm
You're single?
Yes.
Oh. Di pa na nimo kayo. If you're in our circle, mahasab ka na nimo. And hopefully you'd end up with someone who's very understanding and very supportive of your passion
Oh, that's
and
sweet.
the
Thanks
things
for
that you
that.
love to do.
Right, right.
Yes.
I think we all need that in
This
our
coming from a
lives.
45-year-old guy, huh?
Oh, yes, because it's important to be with someone who's helping you grow instead of pulling you down. Because everybody, I think, deserves to be with someone that they can just be themselves and they don't have to hide their
To
passions. They
grow
don't
up
have
with.
to, yeah, to grow up with, yeah. And they can also treat their passions as their priorities. And it's just that level of understanding
Standing.
should be there, and
Support.
trust as
Yes.
well, yeah, and support.
Yes.
That's right. And
Yes.
I'm also curious, like, when did you realize that you love music? When did that love for music come into your life?
Like you, my mother was always with us because my father wasn't always around. He
Mm.
worked, he was always not at home. So it was my mother and some of my ates. I had cousins living with us when I was growing up, and these ates of mine, older cousins actually, they were well when they were growing up, new wave was really at its peak.
Mm.
So Anna, my mother, she introduced me to music, and they would allow me to to act out ba na mura ganing. Hey, this is the Beatles. This is
Mm-hmm.
this is the Beatles. Though I'm not a very big fan of the Beatles, I'm a big fan of Paul McCartney.
Mm.
And
Oh my
he she
God.
introduced.
Yes.
You like Paul?
Paul McCartney in the Wings. He's
Yes.
just so good.
She introduced me to. I remember she had this Elton John record.
Mm-hmm.
Goodbye Yellow Brick Road. She had that record. She played that. She had Inner Vision of Stevie Wonder. My mother was a collector of records, not all records, but the records that she liked. And
Mm-hmm.
I had cousins, like I said earlier, I had cousins who were into new wave. So
Mm-hmm.
Ana, so ang dili we aren't that like you na musical. Your mother listens to Joni Mitchell. Wow. Mao na ba kanang mga imana, but kana I get to listen to music anang a time, and a cousin lives with us, then leaves, then another cousin lives with us. Then mao na another different kind of music na pud ako madungog.
Ah,
So
yes.
that's it. Yes, and we had neighbors, man. But when I grew up in Dakoville, I don't know if you've heard of Dakoville in Dumoy. It's close
Dakoville.
to Real.
I think I
Dakoville.
have.
It's
Yes, yes, I think I've been there. I think we
yes.
have some family friends there.
I was living in Dakoville. I grew up in Dakoville, and we had neighbors. They were chongs. Do you know what chongs are? This is
No.
what they call. This is what most people, the 80s people call themselves. Filipino 80s people call themselves chong. Those are fans of new wave. These are
Chongs.
new wavers, chongs.
Okay.
You'd know when a new waver, a new waver person who likes new wave because they'd call themselves chong. And these
Mm.
neighbors, they'd go hanging out in our place, in our home, in our house. Because my mother used to have this store ba, sari-sari store, small sari-sari store that they would converge. And we had this coffin-like stereo, manggod,
Uh-huh.
na they would appropriate, but they would ask my mother, Nang Carmen. My mother was Carmen. My late mother her name is Carmen.
Mm.
And they would ask her if they could play their music at our house, in our
Mm.
house, playing our coffin record player ba. So they play their vinyl. Oh, katong dagko, remember?
Mm.
Rem-
The vinyl players,
have you
Jud, na
seen?
mga turntable,
Yes, yes.
kanang, wow.
Oh, yes, yes. Pero ours was a national na hastang dako agyon. It was like a coffin lagi. It was like a coffin. So, moto, growing up, I was in in kinder. I was 6 years old. So that was the first time I heard of the Cure.
Ooh.
Oh,
Man.
standing in the beach, killing an Arab. I was in kindergarten when I heard of that song.
Mhm.
So, kani mga silingan na mo, mao lagi diya mamalit sa muang tindahan, they
Mm-mm.
buy their beers, their stuff. Can I say this? And some of them are into nature, manggod. Let's put it in a subtle way. They were into nature, and they
Mhm.
would, and every time they, you know, and every time they smoke some of that nature grown leaves.
Okay,
They'd
yes.
come to our house. They'd go to our house and buy this can of sardines.
Mhm.
They'd ask me if my mother wasn't around. They'd ask me if they could have some of our bahaws ba.
Mhm.
The leftover
The
rice ba.
leftover.
Yes. They'd
Wow.
ask me.
How did you know
Oh,
that they were actually smoking the
I
leaves?
realized later. I
Oh.
realized later when I was growing up.
Mm.
And they told me about the red eyes, the butoy. You know the butoy? The
The
red
butoy.
eyes.
The red eyes.
Yes,
Okay.
yes, the red eyes. And I've heard them talk about that. So when I saw this neighbor of mine, actually he's dead already. He died.
Oh.
When I saw this neighbor of mine asking for the leftover rice that we had for lunch, I knew and I was scared at first. So I called my mother. My mother told them, Kamuha, you're on it again. You're on it again. I'm
Mm.
gonna tell your mama about what you did. And they'd ask my mama, Nang Carmen, ayaw, please don't tell mama. Ano to? No, you lay off it, ano, mama.
Mm.
So, katawanan ba? So these people were the people who'd bring their records to our house. And
Mm-mm.
I saw them. They had this. I don't know if those people who are into vinyls right now, or would carry around satchels, leather satchels, so that they could put their vinyl records inside. Kanya mo mga silingan hastang di besag mga records ay.
Wow.
Oh, they'd converge in our place, manggol. Ito
Mm-mm.
magstorya-storya, they'd show each other their newly acquired records. And
Wow.
I'd get the chance to see these things. But my mother she was very cool. She was very cool, manggod.
Mhm.
She was very cool about mawalagi kay because my cousins they're about mga unsa ba mga ingwan ng idara niya. Some of my cousins really loves to stay in our place, manggod. Ganahan sila mo puyo sa mong balay ba. Because my mother was very I could say she's very liberal. She's very
Mm.
liberal.
She was a cool
She is
mom.
she was a cool mom. She was a cool mom. So mona, oh, maybe your mother was always also cool. Okay, Joni Mitchell, wow, jazz pag yun. So
Yeah, she
ana,
loves jazz.
may,
My mom's very
maybe we
traditional.
maybe we both grew up in the same environment ba. Naingwana. My father was the conservative one. So, moto, ako mama, upalit og record, a cousin would visit our house and would entice my mother to buy this new record. Kana gani,
Mm-mm.
have you listened of Imagination?
Not yet.
Kanang soundtrack na siya sa FX eh. So, that was the first time I heard of soul music po. So,
Ooh.
Tavares, Earth, Wind and Fire. Ang
Mm.
among balay, we weren't that musical nga kanang ingon nga Kuya Jug Records, but kana lagi because I had cousins and they would entice my mother to try this new record out and buy this new record. Maybe some of them could not afford it. That's why they asked my mother to buy it, or they were hesitant to buy it because they were in doubt if the record was good. So moto, nag-pile up. Ako, I was growing up, I listened to music. Then the 80s, the 80s bug bit my mother. Katong mga Rick Astley. I'm a big fan of Rick Astley actually. My mother would play that the record every Sunday. When she'd do her household chores, we'd listen to that. And fortunately, I'm very lucky that my son likes Rick Astley.
Oh, you were schooling your
maybe,
son to like the same type of music that you do.
I did not introduce Rick Astley to him. It was
Oh,
his. It's actually a self-discovery.
wow.
Well, mga lagi na.
So when did you start playing an instrument?
Wow, kana. That's a good question. I was around 18 years old, very late. Very late. 18 years old. Imagine that.
What was the first song you ever played though? What made you want to play a song?
Let's put it this way. I'm a big fan of Pearl Jam.
Mm.
I love Pearl Jam with all my heart. But here's the thing. Some of my friends back then, they didn't like. They were like they're fans of Kurt Cobain, and I was the major. They were the majority, and I was the minority. So none of them would like to play a Pearl Jam song. None of them. So that's when I decided I have to learn how to play the guitar. I have to learn how to play the guitar because nobody's gonna let me join in their band if I have to do it on my own. So here's this cousin of mine. He's actually a husband of my cousin. His name is Arnold Shera. God bless my cousin. He was patient enough to teach me how to play the guitar. And the first song that I ever learned how to play was Smashing Pumpkins' Disarm.
Oh my god, I love that song.
Yes,
Used to be
yes.
a little oh my god, I love that
Yes.
song.
That's the first song that I ever played. It's got 4 chords, very simple. That is why my brother and I, we made a version of that song. It's a very simple song. It's got 4 chords. It's the singing is very passionate.
That's right.
So that's the first song that I ever played. Learned how to play on the guitar. After which I just from there I tried to I tried to do it on my own, discover some chords, and wrote my first song. It was a funny song, but it was a simple song. It's a 2-chord song. From there, that was it. The rest is history.
That's
The
nice.
first song, I didn't play the guitar until this. I did play the guitar until 2002. I had a band, and I was just the singer. I sang for the band. I was the front man. I cringe every time I hear the word front man.
What do you
I
prefer
cringe.
then? Vocalist then. Let's say
That's
vocalist. I
worse
did call
than-
you I did call you frontman earlier. Oh my god, did you just cringe?
Yes, I did. I don't know. I'm not really into labels.
How about the guy on the
So-
mic?
I just sing. That's it. He sings for the band. That's it.
Yeah, he sings for
But-
the band.
Oh, he sings for the band. So the first band that I ever played, you haven't asked me this, but I'm gonna tell you anyway.
Yes, please.
The first band that I was part of was this Pearl Jam cover band. The band's name was Soil Inc. I really didn't like the name of the band.
Who chose
I really
it?
didn't like the
Did you
Soil
not?
Inc. I really did. I'm not proud of the name of the band. I know my bandmates will hate me for this, but they already hate me. So what's the point? They already hate me. So ayun na lang. Moto.
How could
I
someone
wasn't
hate
proud of-
you, man? I'm sure that nobody does.
I'm a pariah. Moto, we played Pearl Jam. Actually, we played 24 Pearl Jam songs. Yun, sa una.
Wow.
And I took pride in playing those songs na dili ginatugtog sa uban. So kato, I enjoyed that band. We play our own songs. So mga to ay nahimong sa siya. O it became a mission to write our own songs.
I lahi ra jud ang feeling na kanang you're singing the words that you wrote based on your
Yes.
experience in life, because it's also weird because as a songwriter, I also prefer singing my own lyrics rather than something that was given to me.
Yes.
Yeah, at first I thought that singing was enough, and I was singing up until I got older, and everybody even said that I should just stick to singing and not play anything else. So I kind of watered that idea, which built that wall between me and my creativity until I finally said yes to myself, and I'm like, hell, I'm gonna play an instrument. I don't care. I want to create something. So yeah. As soon as I finally said yes to myself, that's the catharsis. That's when everything happened. That's when there was like a sudden overflow of ideas. And that's how I was able to write my songs nonstop. And I just get inspired any time of any day. And with you, I'm also curious, like, how does your process usually go? Like, what type of experiences usually inspire you to write?
Before I answer that, I'm going to ask you this.
Okay.
When did you start writing your songs?
I started writing songs ever since I was in high school, but my inability to play an instrument kind of was that wall. They never really got materialized because even when I did have bandmates, they had different directions when it comes to music. They were influenced by different stuff, and they just had a different musical direction, and I don't blame them for that because that's them. They do like you
Yes.
do you or something like that. So for me, I think it was more of me watering that idea that's why I got stuck. So as soon as I started producing my own songs using my MIDI keys on my computer, that's the time that I got really inspired to keep writing until I learned how to play guitar, and then I was able to build a song on my own. So yeah, and that's how it was for me. And with you, I'm curious, like, how were you able to just get into that creative space of writing, of making your own music?
Actually, I'm not that creative.
Come on. You're being modest.
Yes. No. I never considered myself as creative. I just talk a lot. Kana, ang process, I always walk alone. Even now, on my way home, I walk. I think about things, I see things, I talk to people, strangers actually. Vendors. I talk to vendors, I listen to their stories.
Yeah.
I hang out with them. Kana, corny.
Dili
And-
oy lingaw man na.
Yes, that's what I do. I talk to different people. Different people good. That I like. I think most of the best songwriters are people who listen.
Yes.
Chismoso, mariteson. Kana ganing mga marites.
Right.
Ayan.
I
Kanang
totally
mga
agree with you.
marites,
Mhm.
Yes, the mariteses, they make good songwriters.
Because they're storytellers. Yeah.
Yes, even those stories na dili tinuod. Di ba? And they make you believe. They make you
Yes.
they convince people to hate other people
They
by
control the
fabricating.
narrative.
Yes. Oo. Best storytellers. But you cannot start a song with Mare. Mo gani kung nadungo gabi eh. Ano gani?
Yeah.
So how about you? Tell me about your Tell me about your process. Ba? Ako, I watched your video. That was the first time na nakita ka. Two Fridays ago. And your playing isn't typical.
Oh wow.
I don't know. When did you start playing the guitar there?
Oh my god, naulaw ko.
Wala.
I'm a pandemic musician. I only started playing the guitar in 2020.
Oh, come on.
Yeah, I'm serious.
Wala ko kaila sa chords ng imong gigamit good.
Ako pud gani wala ko kabalo sa pangalan. They just sounded right to me, so I used them.
It sounded good. It sounded different. It sounded well. I was blown away.
Oh, thank you. I appreciate that.
I was blown away. Murag nakaingon ko nga, wow. I even thought na you've been playing the guitar since you were a kid. Pero if you were a pandemic musician, so guitar player, kuyawa no? Ako wala jud ko. Limited ko kayo. Baga lang kog naong and kana baga lang jud kog naong. All I have is guts. Nothing special with what I have. All I have is guts.
I'm sure that you are special. Come on. Like you create impact in people's lives, like with the
I don't
music
know.
that you make, with the conversations that you have with people. Man.
Yes, maybe that. Yes. I totally agree with you. I think it's special because I'm doing it with my brother.
Yeah. He's the drummer, right? Your brother.
Yes. And he is around 12 years. Our age gap is about 12 years. Your brother could relate to you even if he's 12 years younger than me. It's you seldom well, my brother could do it with different musicians, diba? But he chose to do it with me. So maybe because we're brothers, well, chemical pod siguro because the blood
Chemical brothers.
that's running in our veins is we have the same blood. So kana siguro, pero ako happy ko. I used to watch after him when he was growing up. Eh.
Oh, yeah.
Oo. Mona, siguro po the music I listened to, since I was the one who looks after him when he was growing up. So na translate sa iyaha ako ang taste po siguro, or the music that I hate to say taste kay mura mo pukughawd, pero the music that I listen to I may sound or may look like somebody who's kanang sa may proper term kanang feeling ba, hilas ba, pero I never really thought of myself as something na wala gyud. Because I don't really think na what I do is special. What I do makes me happy. And I feel alive every time I play music.
Yes.
And maybe, or I'm gonna be very honest, that what I'm doing with my brother is special. Special not because I'm doing it with my brother.
Yeah, exactly.
Lang na.
Do you ever get creative block? Like, do you ever get like just writer's block, like when you don't feel like being productive at all? Or are there just some days that you're like,
sa una ang surge gani, mura to siya o moabot lang ba. Na I was on my way to work, muuli ko balay, I'd go home because I feel like writing, laying down a track. And I don't think I ever had this what most people call writer's block. Okay, what I do is I write this song and I live it like murag I live that song to evolve gani o let it evolve.
Yes.
Yeah, motto. Because if I cannot write a word or words or a line, if I cannot write, I'd content myself with writing an instrumental. Mao na akong ginabuhat. So, mao na. I'm a very limited musician. If I play that song, if I feel like it's a good song, then I'm gonna keep it. Mao na. And I'm gonna present it to a crowd, to an audience. If the audience reacts to it, positively reacts to it, then it's a keeper. That's what we do.
Yes. Oh yeah. I was wondering, what type of advice would you like to give like somebody who also wants to pursue music, somebody who also wants to play and who also wants to create their own music?
I'm not an authority. I this somewhere. I don't know who said this, but ani mong good na, di ba? I don't know. I think it's Beck who said this. You can't write if you can't relate. So in relation to that, ang akong masulti, all I have to say is write what you know. Write what you know.
Yeah, exactly.
Do the things that makes you happy. Write what you know. Do the things that makes you happy at all times. Be yourself. Well, everybody's wearing a mask.
That's right.
Everybody wears a mask. When you're faced with these people, you wear your nice guy mask. If you're with a certain group of people, you wear your jerk mask. Pero,
there's a jerk
diba?
mask. Yeah.
Yes, we all wear masks. Even if you don't want to conform jud ka, but always leave something that is you ba.
Something
Leave a
that's
mark
true to
ba.
you. Yeah.
Kind of like your music. Let's talk about your music. Murag monopolize na akong istorya eh. Ani, when I listen to your song, what impressed me is kato lagi and I've been watching you and I've been wanting you. You have a very beautiful voice. Pero
thank you.
dili gani tinuod ang imong gisulti, if any of those lines na dili tinuod, wala gito'y ayo. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, murag kato kani. I wrote it down, mong. I wrote it down actually.
Oh wow, I'm flattered.
I've been telling you the opposite of what you mean to me. Kana gani. I was blown away by that line.
Oh wow.
And mura gani, I've listened to songwriters man pod. Very few songwriters na dili nga mogamit gani og simple words. Yeah, ang effect gani sa naminaw. You only hear that from the late Tom Petty. One hell of a songwriter na. Kana ganing when you listen to him, it's very simple song, very simple line.
Yeah, like it's nothing really grand about like the words. Like it's just like you're talking to someone.
Wala gani nimo gipanghambog nga ikaw nagbasa kag daghang libro.
Yeah.
I-quote na ko si Tom Petty and it's one of my favorite lines. You can stand me up in the gates of hell, but I won't back down. I'll send a link of that song. I won't back down ang lyric ang title sa song. Pete Townsend wrote this.
It's so honest. Like I think there's
honest. You can stand me up at the gates of hell, but I won't back down. Mura gani kaingong di best. Na isa. It's one of my favorite songs. Baba O'Reilly of The Who. I don't need to fight to prove I'm right. I don't need to be forgiven. Asa may kuyaw nga words at tuning gawas? Wala. You don't
Yeah.
have to you don't have to prove to people that you've read many books and you have a, a wide vocabulary. Gani. You don't have to be a walking dictionary when you write a song. You just have to mean it.
That's right.
In your case, you meant it. Ah, kaingong ug galaw-gawan ni si Aubrey. Oy. Oo.
Thank you. I appreciate that, man.
Okay. Ako excited good ka. Leave this ha. Don't cut this off ha. Excited good ko aning interview or this conversation. Let's not call this an interview. Let's call this a conversation between friends.
Mm-hmm.
Kay kana ganing the idea gani nga you talk about how you write your songs. You talk about trivial things good.
Yeah,
You know,
yeah.
gagmayng butang.
That's the word. I
Pero-
love that. Yeah.
which affects you as someone who's a believer of an art form gani.
Yes, yes.
I really gani. I don't want to call myself as a songwriter, a guitarist, a vocalist, a frontman. I would really love to think of myself as a true believer of rock and roll.
Yeah.
Mao lang gid na. When I was growing up, I didn't have friends. All I had was music and rock and roll. Kana. It sustained me.
Yes.
Still
that's right.
does. It still does.
Mhm.
It still does.
It keeps us sane. Music keeps us sane. Like in this crazy times and this crazy, like whatever it is that we're going through, no matter how hard it is, like at the end of the day, we still got music.
And your music, my friend, is proof that music soothes souls ba.
Mm.
Kana, my music is, ako among good is basically expression ba.
Expression. Mm.
Expression. Na ako nakita ni, kaysa ba naman ako anang ipangalandakan, na I'd say, you suck, man. Why not convert it into a song? Then, if you wanna rebel on something which is corny for a guy my age, corny na ba? Yeah. When everybody wants to be a Kurt Cobain, be a Bruce Springsteen.
Ooh, I love Bruce. Secret Garden. Favorite
Oh,
song.
mao na ako ang ingon. Mao na akong ingon. When everybody wants to be angry, be a Bruce Springsteen.
Yeah.
Write an angry song that means something.
Yes. Yes.
Write a song that will make you want to live life. Or write a song that makes you want to forge on. Kanang ana gani. Write a song that will make you want to live your life. Another day. Then another day. And another day. Sorry kung nanay punto akong istorya, but
it makes a lot of sense. Yeah.
care for those who look up to you. Gani. Take care of those who look up to you. Kanang mga taong nag-admire sa mo, give them inspiration, give them a reason to live on, or give them a reason not to fuck things up.
Correct.
Sorry.
It's fine. Yeah.
Mo na ba?
That's what songs do. Even like when we leave this world, when we leave the shell of our bodies, like what's gonna stay? The stuff that we left the world, and that's our art. That's the music that we made.
We may not have earned out of it or from it, earned financially from it or kana, pero at least na eh.
Yeah. And the kanang for other people to also get something out of it ba. It really inspires me every time, like when somebody shares something new to me, like the way that you're sharing all of your experiences to me now. Like I really appreciate that, because me, I also get to feel motivated as well to do my stuff. And I think that's what you also do for people, man. With you just doing what you love, you inspire people to do what they love.
Certain passions na you have no idea na naadi ay ba.
Sa tibuok nimo na life as somebody who loves rock, who loves music, unsa ang kanang only or greatest challenge nimo in your journey? And giunsa nimo siya pag-overcome?
That's a good question. And I'll try to give you a good answer. Actually, wala mo journey. Really.
Why do you say
Ah,
so?
wala, I have never. Again, what I do is not special. What I do is I do it for myself. The challenge is, well, wala good. Kanang, there are people who doesn't like me. And I don't think them liking me or not liking me is a challenge. They can hate me for all they like, but wala ko mahimo. I am not going to convince them. I'm not going to I am not going to make them like me. Certainly, I'm not going to dance to their tune. That's the best answer that I can give. Wala, there's no challenge. We write our own songs, we record our songs, we produce our own records. Well, actually, we just produced one record back in 2008.
Oh,
And we sold quite decently.
nice.
Yes, we recorded it Kane Trivia. Well,
Yeah.
not that people care, pero kay balo ba ka? Did you know? Did you know? We re-recorded 11 songs for just 1,600 pesos.
Oh, wow.
The cheapest in the history of recording, the cheapest in the history of recording, or
Wow.
recording history.
11
And we sold,
songs?
yes,
And
we
you
really are
sold,
very,
and you
we
sold,
we doubled it.
oh, wow.
Oh, we doubled it. Oo.
Gabe.
Among kinabuhi, lagi, what we do is always about necessity. Necessity to be able to perform, to express ourselves, to produce songs, to stay relevant. That's maunay necessity. Necessity is the mother of all invention.
All right. Oh, by the way, would you like to invite people, if you have a page on social media, or if they want to follow you on your socials, just to get them updated with what's happening with your music and with the stuff that you're doing?
Bash us in Facebook. Reyes.
I like that. Oh my gosh.
Oh.
That's very, I don't know. That's just like in your face, like bash us on Facebook.
Oh, Reyes. Sidebar, the band you'll love. Oh, Reyes, the band you'll hate to love. Whatever. Ako nag-enjoy ko sa storya ba.
I know, ako pod. Like, daghan pag kay kog natunan, like, from you. And grabe ka wide sa range sa imuhang musical influences. And I think you also learned a lot from all of the experiences that you've had in the past. And daghan
Actually,
kay kag...
wala ko actually wag ko kadungog ng uban gud. Naghilas-hilas ra ko para ignog.
Ay, hala.
Wala ko kadungog na nila. I don't listen to those. Kinsa na nila sa Tom Waits.
By But yeah, man, I do appreciate your time and thank you so much for sharing everything that you know and for speaking your truth. I really appreciate conversations like this, especially when we're talking about ideas and we're talking about your experiences. And also, I just love the way you're dissecting songs. You have this way, you're very keen into that attention to detail. You got that, and I think that's what makes you you, and I appreciate that so much. And thank you again
Thank
for
you.
your time. Thank you. I'm
Mong
sure
yung
that
pinaka the best compliment niya mong nahatag ba? Ang ako nadungog. What makes you you? Wala lang yung wala gani adjective.
oh
Wala
yeah,
adjective. Makes you you.
Mm.
Real ba? Is real an adjective ba? No.
Yes, it's also an adjective. Yeah.
It's an adjective. Oh, kana. That's the best adjective I've ever. Thank you for the compliment, for telling me for being me. That's
Yeah.
it. Salamat kayo. And I'm a big fan of your music.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah. Katong line,
Mhm.
really stuck. Sa mong nagbalik-balik. Oh, yo.
I'm so glad that
Ikaw
it
ba?
had that impact on you.
Imbis ako mo interview ko sa mo ha.
I
Maybe some other time siguro.
yes, let's have
Ang
another
podcast po
discussion.
siguro ko, no?
Sige. Oh my god, I'd love that. You'd bring a ton of value.
So, kani, thank you for your time.
Thank you.
Actually.
Thank you as well. I really appreciate it. And you have a good one, man.
Oh, thank you. Ikaw po.
This episode is in partnership with South Republik. That's South Republik with a K on YouTube and Facebook. This is Aubrey, and you're listening to It's All Material. New episode every Thursday at 7 p.m.